Welcome to 6 Minutes for Tuesday, June 7th. I'm Jason Fulmore, SC Wrestle. Today we're talking Schoolboy Duels, Schoolboy National Duels USA Wrestling. Happens later this week in Indiana. We actually kick off on Thursday. And let's jump right into it. Just a reminder, let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about the schedule. So the schedule, basically for those of you who are new to USA Wrestling and USA Wrestling Duels, the duels work like this: 2 days of Greco, 2 days of freestyle. And I've been going back to the Track Wrestling website for the tournament for the last several days, waiting for the teams to come out. We can see how many states are going to be represented. It still isn't posted. So we're going to kind of go with some past experience and take a guess as we do this preview. So first, the way it works is that the kids are kind of given a numeric point based upon past accolades, and they use that to help them seed the teams and put the teams into one of 4 different pools. And if you have a bunch of kids who have gone to Kids Nationals previously, maybe won Tulsa, I don't know exactly the criteria that they use, then your team can be put into, a specific spot within those pools. And what they try to do is they try to separate the top teams from one another. And they do that both in Greco and in freestyle, because the teams might change up just a little bit between those two things. So Thursday, Thursday, we get 2 sessions and basically 4 or 5 rounds, depending on how many teams are in your pool for Greco. And then Friday, based upon how they finish within their pool or within those pools, they actually get into the gold, silver pool, the copper, bronze pool, so on and so forth, and they battle their way through again. And basically, it repeats itself for freestyle, which will happen on Saturday and Sunday. You can check back here Monday for a breakdown of how all the teams did. But before we get to that, obviously, let's talk about a few of the Southeast teams. So let's go to Tennessee first. Tennessee got to see some of the Schoolboys wrestle up in the Best of the Best duels that Tennessee USA Wrestling hosted a couple weeks ago. This is a good squad, and there's going to be a lot of names on these rosters. There's just no way to talk about them all. I think that a couple things that you should keep in mind, I'll throw out a couple names. Number one, down low, Tennessee is pretty tough. I mean, actually very tough. Dominic Cordero, Hudson Chittum kick things off down low. Jackson Lane at 92. Dylan Vyers, Gary Hyde. Those are all kids who won Schoolboys I believe they won Schoolboys in the Southeast region. So that's going to be the strength of this lineup for Tennessee. It's down low. But that doesn't mean that, the top weights aren't going to be just as competitive. And I'll tell you what, filling out a full roster in Schoolboys is going to do Tennessee a world of good. You can't afford forfeits in these duels, and Tennessee's going to do really, really well. At least that's my opinion. All right, so let's jump over to North Carolina. And you can see North Carolina, as compared to Tennessee, has many fewer wrestlers. They're going to give up a ton of forfeits, which means as a team, they're not going to do well as a team. But that doesn't mean that there aren't individuals within this group. And the one individual that kind of pops off the page for North Carolina, and we're looking forward to watching, is Jack Hardy at 149 pounds. It'll be really interesting to see how Jack does with some of the other top 149-pound schoolboys in this tournament. All right, so let's jump over to Florida. Florida, again, has almost every one of the weights. They're missing the top and the bottom end of their bracket or of their roster, but otherwise, right in the middle, boy, they are tough. Everett Stevens at 87 is somebody to watch. Mason Bazil, 136 pounds, is someone to watch. And then I think, personally, the success or or lack of success of the team as a whole is really going to come down to 106 to 130. Those are going to be the kids. There are going to be some really good matches, some really tough matches in that group. And those are the individuals that if Team Florida is going to push for a spot in the top 8, those are the ones that are going to have to really come through and make a difference. All right, so let's now jump to Team Alabama. Like Team North Carolina, Alabama as a team is going to struggle. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, they give up too many forfeits. But this is a fantastic opportunity for these individuals to really get some good matches. And honestly, Alabama's got some really, really good individuals. If you remember back to last year, I believe it was last year, Bradley Williams went with Team Alabama for Schoolboys. The team didn't do well, but Bradley did exceptionally well and really kind of, showed where he stood as it relates to all the best, other schoolboys at his weight. I think we'll see the same thing, and this time with Jackson Unger at 125 and Austin Campbell at 130 pounds. Both are really, really good, and I expect both of them to have a really, really good trip to Indiana. Our last team that we're talking about today is Georgia. And Georgia, I don't think they have quite enough to have 2 full teams. And it'll be really interesting. I think they're going to have one team, which could really serve them well. It means that they're going to get maybe individually, they're going to get fewer matches. But the ability to move kids in and out of a lineup, create matchups that work best for your team could be the difference in Georgia really making a run for a top 4 finish here in Schoolboy duels. Georgia is exceptionally tough, especially down low. The Mills brothers down low, Cooper MacArthur, they're exceptionally good. And then you're going to see some names further down. Cash Prado, Bear Bringer, Mahai Nekula, Ethan Sequoy, Ronan On. These are all wrestlers who have been a part of USA Wrestling for a period of time. It'll be really interesting. They're going to get their points down low. How the rest of the lineup does is going to really determine how far Team Georgia does in the tournament. Check in next week for a wrap-up of what happened. And we might do a wrap-up of Greco at the end of Greco and then a wrap-up of Freestyle at the end of Freestyle. But best of luck to everyone who's competing this week, both in cadet duels, which start on Wednesday, I believe, maybe Thursday, and Wednesday, and 14U schoolboy duels that start on Thursday. Really, and other things you need to know today, this is duels week for USA Wrestling. So tune in later this week and check it out. Also dropping a bunch of our Dave Schultz and Tricia Saunders award winner interviews. Yesterday we shared our conversation with Ella Beam, who won the Tricia Saunders Award for the state of North Carolina and for the Southeast. And later today, we'll share our conversation with Corey Land, who won Alabama, won the Southeast, and was the first ever from Alabama to win the National Dave Schultz Award for High School Excellence. Check it out. All right, you guys have a great one.